Welcome to Rugby Lives Farmers Edition. This week we're talking to Graham Dawe, the farmer that trained for 700 days in a row to win a place in the England side, and was also part of the greatest Bath team ever. We'll also be talking to Ben Tish from Cubit House Pubs, who'll be cooking up a dish made from Graham's very own Devon beef. From the secrets of that legendary Bath side to his rivalry with Brian Moore and the Battle of Cardiff, this is the Rugby Life of Graham Dawe. Hi Graham, welcome to Rugby Lives. This is Farmers Special as well. So you've come up to us from Devon.
Absolutely, West Devon.
And born and bred down there?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Tavistock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though people presume me to be Cornish, I'm actually Devonian.
Well, I think it's because you've done both sides, isn't it? You've been a bit Cornwall, you've been a bit Devon and stuff like that.
Well, because my first club was Launceston.
Yeah.
Because when I left school, I wasn't going to play rugby. And then my godfather, he was chairman of Launceston, rang me up. He didn't ring me up once, so I said no. And then he rang me a second time. And I said, okay, I'll come down and play for the Colts. And that was it.
What did you like about rugby then? What was it that sort of drew you down? You're forced to go down to Launceston, but when you actually got there, what was it like?
Well, I couldn't drive to begin with. I had to get my mum to persuade me to take me to training. And then I passed my test, I was okay. But yeah, I don't know really. I did play a bit at school.
Yeah.
But no, don't know. Just loved getting stuck in, I suppose.
Was that an immediate thing, the contact side of it for you?
Well, not really, because I played scrum half at school.
Okay.
And when I went to Launceston the Colts, I played fullback.
Okay. So when did you move to the front row?
When I became 18, I said, the coach asked me to say, well, can you play in the back row?
Okay.
So I played in the back row for the second team.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the season. And then I think the third week or second week of that season, the first team hooker went down with a bad injury. Yeah. And he suggested I go up there.
Because it's a bit different rugby then, because obviously you had the National Cup as well, and that was kind of taking people all the way, to the top clubs and that lot. So that's probably when you played one of the top sides, like Gloucester. Was it one of your first big games for Launceston?
Well, because I think 83, we won the merit table in the Cornwall Cup.
Yeah.
That was the first big prize for Launceston in the day. So that entered us into the, what do they call it?
John Player Cup.
Yeah, but it was a Southwest merit table.
Oh, okay.
So you played Gloucester, Bath.
Right, okay, yeah.
Bristol. We didn't play Bristol in the end. We played Gloucester home and away and Bath away.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's how we got involved.
And you played, what was playing Bath like? Was that how they first got to see you?
I don't know. I don't think so, really. No, I don't think so. The first time, the best story was we're playing Gloucester away. So we won the cup in 83. So it was the autumn of 83. And we got there on a Tuesday night in Gloucester, in Kingsholm. And my normal loosehead prop, Steve, couldn't play because he didn't like travelling anyway. So this young fella played. He was only 18. And so we go into the first scrum at Kingsholm against Phil Blakeway. And so Phil Blakeway comes into the scrum, he says to the loosehead, he said, good evening, how would you like it, hard or very hard? And my loosehead said, well, let's try very hard. So he turned him upside down in the scrum, off his feet. Scrum stayed up. And then my loosehead prop said, well, let's just go back to hard. So he put him back on his feet again. Yeah, so it was a good experience.
But how did Bath end up signing you? Because this is...
Because I think the 84 I played against... I did go up to Gloucester and train once. And then 84, Somerset came down to Redruth to play in play Cornwall. Somerset Cornwall in the county championship. Yeah. And I suppose we got stuck in and the message went back.
There must be something more. There must be something else. Because this was this was a Bath side just at the start of an era. Had they they'd won 2 national cups by the time you got there? They'd just done back to back, which was...
They beat London Welsh and then they beat Bristol, didn't they?
Yeah.
So this was the autumn of 85, but for a long... Anyway, I wanted the captaincy of Launceston. I didn't want to leave Launceston before I was captain, so they didn't give me the captaincy in 84. They gave it to me in 85, and then Bath came calling in the autumn of '85.
Yeah.
And so I said, "Oh, sorry, I'm captain, can't leave my club."
Right. Okay.
And so Jack Rowell said, "Well, you're either going to come on Monday
Yeah.
or you'll never come."
That's it.
Yeah. This was in December, in the middle of the season. So I went home and I said to my wife, "I'm just going to Bath tonight." So why are you going to Bath? I said, "I'm going to train at Bath." He said, "Have you told Launceston?" I said, "No." And so she came home early from work, jumped in the car and drove to Bath.
How old are you then?
Old.
Old.
I was a late developer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were you like?
Mid-20s.
Mid-20s.
Yeah.
And then how soon did you play your first game?
I played one game for the second team. Well, it was the first team. It was the first team away at London Welsh.
Yeah.
It was in England. That weekend was an England trial weekend.
Yeah.
So half the team weren't there. I remember playing London Welsh away and got absolutely pumped in the scrum. And all the first team boys watched. The England boys watched.
Okay.
So Gareth Shawcott came up to me after the game and put his arm around me. He said, "Mate, you did all right."
Okay.
I said, "No, I didn't." And then went back on the bus, and Roger Sporrell tried to get me drunk, but I said, "I'm driving." So yeah, so good memories. And funny enough, Tony Swift was the person sent from Bath to watch me, to give a report back to Jack Rowell.
So they chose a winger to go and look at a hooker.
Yeah.
And so he came. Did you know he was there?
Yeah. He was on the bus.
Okay.
Yeah, he came along. So
Right.
I don't know why. But anyway, that's a long story.
Because you wanted to like try to, you know, even though you were late coming to rugby, you were still ambitious. You know, you talked about, you know, captaining the country, captaining your team, but then you started thinking about England quite early as well, didn't you? Like, you know, comparatively from
Yeah,
where
but
you
you got to wind the clock back about 8 years.
yeah.
So that's when I decided to give it a crack. And I don't know, it was just a light bulb moment that I would, right. Yeah, I played a bit at school and, you know, as a scrum half, but I decided, I don't know, I just decided one day I wanted to travel, but I couldn't afford to travel. So how can you travel? Play for your country. And that was it.
But you say that's it, but that wasn't it, is it? It's not. That's not.
Well, it is, because I worked
Tell me what you actually did.
Well, I came across a 1978 training program, I think it was, or that England had produced. And I don't know how I got hold of it. Maybe the coach at Launceston gave it to me or whatever. So then I decided to follow it, letter of the law. It was a ridiculous training schedule for England. And so I just followed that for 2 years solid.
How many sessions?
It was, so you had to train every single, the schedule was training every single day. And you even had to do something on a Saturday morning. So don't worry about the rugby, the games, just train. So I don't know. Yeah, 2 years solid.
So about 700 odd training sessions.
So yeah, I mapped it all out, diaried it all, and it just worked very hard.
Because in my head, it's some kind of Rocky montage with like bench pressing calves and sheep, and you know, what were you using? The farm, was the farm a bit of a salt course?
Yeah, because we used to, back in the day, we used to do thousands of small bales. So
Yeah.
I would probably 10 or 12,000 small bales every year.
Yeah.
Just load them all by hand, unload them by hand, just work. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And I could weld, so I welded my own weights up.
You're welding your own weights together. What were you using to create
just
the
stuff
weights?
on the farm?
Just random stuff in order to build it. Was there a moment when you actually felt you could break through at Bath? How? Because I imagine were you intimidated by what you had in front of you because you've got so many England players?
No, because the following week I was in the first team.
Yeah.
Away at Oral.
Yeah.
In January, in the cup.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went straight in the team.
Yeah. And was there a moment when you felt like, okay, I'm a first teamer now? Was that just the moment, or was any imposter syndrome? It doesn't sound like you had imposter syndrome.
Well, when I got picked for the first game, so I had one game for the well, for the first year at London Welsh, and then they picked me the following week, first week of January, and Sparrow was the captain.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
being typical Roger Sparrow, says, "Well, I wouldn't have picked you." So I said, "Well, that's your choice." But I said, "Funny enough, I'm in the team,
Yeah.
so maybe you don't get a lot to say." But he's quite a confrontational person, and didn't bother me.
What was the characters like in that squad? Were you an outsider coming as like someone from farming, from
Yeah.
Devon,
Yeah,
into that Bath?
absolutely.
It's a lot of different backgrounds to yours there, I
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, some good stories. I just kept my head down. Yeah, and to be fair, Richard Lee, Gareth Shortcut were good.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They sort of carried me along. You know, I remember the famous story of we played Roslyn Park at home. Well, it's not a famous story, but it's just a Roslyn Park. And the Roslyn Park hooker was taking me to the cleaners.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Sakuchi says, I said, Cooch, I'm really struggling to hook my own ball. This guy's got me pinned down that well. He said, well, he won't be anymore. I said, why is that then? And then we find that the last line out, Gareth has looked after him. So there's no Roslyn Park hooker to play against, you know what I mean? But so anyway, so he was, after that it was fine.
Yeah.
So you needed those little helps along the way.
Because that Bath had a bit of everything, didn't it? I mean, what do you think made it so successful?
Well, they did train exceptionally hard, which is not a problem. And Ra was meticulous on the line-outs, on the line-out drills. So set piece was a big thing. Although you look at any rugby team, you don't really notice set pieces. They expected to go to plan, don't you? But he was big on set pieces, and Dave Robson was big on the scrum. And yeah, we used to hit a lot of scrums, hit a lot of line-outs, and we always did. We always did a lot of contact as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you were found wanting in the contact area, Rao used to pipe up all the time.
Yeah.
So you just didn't want to be found wanting.
Did you say, because you were traveling, does that mean you missed the social side, or were you staying for the social and then going back?
I was very lucky. My wife was a very good taxi service. So on the Saturday show.
So she'd come up for you and then
I
drive.
would never get involved in the week. I would just be on the road straight away. But in the weekends, I'd try and to a point.
Yeah.
But I couldn't live with some of those boys. Not sanctuary.
Well, especially as like some of them probably had the boot money coming in as well. Did you get offered boot money?
No,
was that a thing?
Absolutely nothing whatsoever.
No.
So they gave me 10p a mile when I first joined it.
Well, at least you're driving a few.
And they wanted me to feel grateful for that. So yeah. But there were some good stories about some players.
What's the most you heard anyone getting from that era?
Absolutely zero, nothing.
Really?
Yeah. But
Every single player I meet from a successful side around that era says the other one are getting boot money. So the Leicester side saying, right, the Bath guys, well, they're of course getting boot money. Anyone who's a rival Leicester, well, of course, all the Leicester guys are having the boot. It was just that era where it just felt there was a lot of like shady corners with.
well, maybe I am very, very naive, but
either way, you didn't get any money.
I didn't go. I didn't. No, didn't do it. So they gave me my expenses.
Yeah. Was it hard to balance life though? Because you're still running a farm as well. How did you manage the two?
Well, yeah, we managed. So my father was still active, and then we employed people.
So it was a family farm. It's always been a family farm.
Yeah,
and how big is the farm?
Well, now it's about 350 acres.
Okay. Is that bigger or smaller than it was then?
It's a bit bigger than it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a nice, farm.
Do you like farming? Sounds a silly question, but you're kind of born into it.
Yeah, I do enjoy farming.
Yeah. What is it about it?
Probably a bit like rugby. I enjoy the challenge. Okay. Yeah. It's always a challenge. Every day's a challenge. Every season's a challenge. We've just gone through an exceptionally dry summer. We're now into an exceptionally wet winter. Yeah. But you've got to get through it, and resilience is a great thing, and you get all sorts of problems in any business, don't you?
Yeah.
Whether it's hospitality, farming, whatever, you just got to address it, meet it head on and get on with it.
Were there any other farmers in that Bath setup at all, or was there anyone?
Richard Lee, the tight head.
Oh, right.
So he was a dairy farmer. Yeah. So, yeah.
Fellas, I mean, I suppose back then, because people had jobs, there was probably a few more farmers kicking around generally.
Yeah, there were some farmers, wasn't there? Was the oral hooker that gave me a hard time? Was it Neil Hitchin? Pinned me to the floor in the first half, and you've got to overcome when it's Sammy Southern and I can't think of the loose head prop. Anyway, Sammy Southern, he was a character for oral back in the day as a tight head, and he says to you, "Here, Dorset, you're going nowhere today."
What accent was
in the first scrum. That's a Lancashire.
That was Lancashire.
That's Lancashire.
Okay.
And he said, "Well, Sammy."
Apologies to any Lancastrians or Lancashire people.
Anyway, so that's where you got it wrong. So
you're at Bath, and you'd obviously started your England training years before. Where was England? When did England first take any notice of you?
That autumn. So it must have been the end of the era for. I can't think of his.
Which country we're talking?
We're talking England hooker. Played for, was it Coventry? Anyway, so it was the end of his era. So Brian Moore and I came into the squad that autumn against Japan.
Right. But you'd met Brian Moore before. Tell me about the first time you met Brian Moore.
Brian was playing for Notts, Links and Derby.
Yeah.
Because, did he go to university?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think he did actually.
So he's playing for Notts, Links and Derby, and I was making one of my first games for Cornwall. Away in there. We met him in the toilets back in the day. What's the name of that? Island Avenue, was it?
Yeah, Island Road.
Nottingham.
Yeah, Island Avenue. Yeah.
So the players used to go to the
go to the urinal,
go to have a pee with the supporters, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I'm in the corner having a quiet pee, and then this guy comes in with number 2 on his back, and then the supporters in between us. And he turns to Brian and he says, "Well, how's it going to be? What's the game going to be like today?" And Brian said, "Well, it's a walk in the park." And I was obviously a bit naive, and I thought, that's very disrespectful. Not even played 1 minute yet, and it's a walk in the park. So that wound me up straight away. But actually, we were competitive. We lost the game just. But yeah. So that was my first.
When was the next? So you presumably played against them. Did it? I suppose it must have made this rivalry between the two of you. Did that mean that that Harlequins game was one you always look for in the fixtures, thinking, right, this is the guy?
Well, he made a move, didn't he? Not long after, from Nottingham.
Yeah.
Down to Harlequins.
Yeah.
Not long after doing an interview on TV saying, "I'm not leaving Nottingham."
Yeah.
But anyway, he ended up at Harlequins.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of players end up with Harlequins. I think the thing with the Harlequins, they didn't quite have the success though, did they? So you always had that must have made it harder for you because you were the best team in the country by like a country mile, and you weren't kind of getting through. What was going through your mind? How were you thinking, right, I'm going to try to get past this guy?
Well, I did consider, but I'm glad I never did. I did consider leaving Bath and joining Harlequins.
Yeah. In order that would make your commute even worse. Figured what? So the coach can't possibly pick anyone else.
I was at a burning desire to play for my country. But then I couldn't really leave Bath because they'd given me the opportunity.
Yeah.
But I did consider it.
Yeah.
But and disconsidered it.
But I guess it was also that them against us attitude, wasn't it? I think that's like a West Country thing as well, because obviously there's so much of the power in Southwest London. The locality of it just meant, it felt like they were looking for excuses. Did you feel like they were looking for excuses not to pick you? Tell me about the Battle of
Cardiff. Brian's a good rugby player, to be fair.
Yeah, he is a good rugby player.
Good rugby player. Was a good rugby player.
Yeah. Tell me about the Battle of Cardiff. The game in the Six Nations.
Well, we just come up with. So my first cut was against Ireland away in really wet, challenging conditions, and Willie Anderson was picked at number 8. And Dean Richards pulled out the week before. So the back row, I think, was Peter Winterbottom. Pick was Peter Winterbottom, Dean Richards, Paul Simpson.
Yeah.
Who's a real mate of mine. Anyway, so Winterbottom did something to his shoulder or did something anyway, so he wasn't available. So Simo went to number 8, and I don't know whether Gary Reese came in or whatever, or John Hall perhaps. Anyway, it wasn't a good day in the rain, Lansdowne Road. And then we played France.
Yeah.
But Dave Cusani, Wade Dooley played in that game. Anyway, so we played France and they picked Steve Bainbridge.
Yeah.
And Wade Dooley. And I think we picked, so John Hall went to number 8, and we had Winterbottom and Reese in the back row.
Yeah.
And I had Rendell and Gary Pearce.
Yeah.
And then in probably the second or third scrum, Paul Rendell tore his Achilles.
Okay. Can't remember.
Achilles went bang.
Yeah.
So Gareth Shawcott's on the bench.
Yeah.
So Gareth Shawcott comes on. Brilliant moment. With all the Frenchmen as well, and he just loved it. And Cucci came on, and anyway, we had a good day in the forwards.
Yeah, yeah.
But I misdemeanored a little bit with Pierre Bibizier by taking him out a bit.
What does that look like? You say misdemeanor, taking him out a little bit. What did you actually do?
Well, I was told to ruffle his feathers by the coach. So I, being naive, just did what I was asked to do.
Okay.
So I caught him late quite a few times, but he's a tough cookie, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he had all the tricks in the book, didn't he? He's a famous guy who went up to the 22 with, the ball in his jumper behind, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
All those little things. So stop Bibizier and you win the game. But as it was, I think Eric Chant scored off a scrum, didn't they? And they won the game. Under the sticks, he scored. Eric Chant scored, or set this try up anyway. But it was good. It was 1915, and we really fronted up as a team.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Marcus Rose was playing anyway. So with that, so sort of got some respect then as a forward pack.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Dooley and Bainbridge, we did have a good pack of forwards.
Yeah, yeah.
So then going to Cardiff, we did have a good record in Cardiff, did we? So Richard Hill was the captain and said, right, yeah, we're going to win. We're going down to win the game, obviously, but we haven't won there for years. We met in Chepstow and we had this team talk. And, in the hotel, Hilly said, well, this is how it is.
Yeah.
They lay a finger on us, we're all in.
Yeah.
Because they're a good team, but we're competitive anyway. So, as it's all famous, isn't it? I didn't, even though I got suspended, I didn't actually think I did very much, but didn't do anything really. But it was a good experience. It's a great crowd, and it's just lovely to go into Cardiff and just standing up to them toe to toe.
Yeah.
Although we lost the game again, didn't we?
So what were the incidents that kind of made it so famous? Why years later was it called the Battle of Cardiff when you've...
Well, because Richard Hill's team talk was phenomenal.
Right.
In the room.
Yeah.
So much so that Don Runnerford, who was the team manager at the time, walks out the room because he couldn't put up with what's going on. So we're going to stand together here. And yeah.
Because also this was an era of two sides scrapping to try to get something, wasn't it? Because it wasn't like neither team was in their best shape overall in terms of success. So it was also about that. And I think it was Phil Davies who went off, wasn't it? Their number 8, who I can't remember who took him out.
But Bob Norster stupidly put his hand on someone's shoulder, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then, so Phil Davies comes around from the back of the line out to the front of the line out to see what's going on. And
yeah. Did anyone get sent off in that game, or was it all the suspensions afterwards?
No, suspensions afterwards.
So who got suspended after?
Wade Dooley.
Yeah.
Throwing the punch.
Yeah.
Because Steve Sutton broke his nose and then, yeah.
And what happened to you? What did they say? What happened with you?
Well, so then the president was Grimshaw, I think. But the vice president was the Lancastrian guy.
Yeah.
Do you remember his name or not?
Nah, before my time.
Oh. Anyway, so he apparently, weirdly, he didn't go to the game.
Right. Okay.
Apparently, he was in Moscow on business. I'm only going on hearsay here. It gets better. What's it called? John, I can't think of his name. Sorry, I should have done some research. So he says, well, we have to stand up, do something here.
Yeah.
For the public to see. So,
Yeah.
so they suspended Wade Dooley because he was obviously,
Yeah.
but he only did what we did for the team. We were all going to go together.
Yeah.
And then Richard Hill was the captain.
Yeah.
So he was suspended. And then Gareth Shawcott, because he's friends with Richard Hill. And then I was Bath as well. So we might suspend you as well.
How long did they suspend you for?
Well, allegedly for one game.
Okay. But then when did you start a game after that then?
Well, it was 87. So there was a World Cup. The first World Cup was the year after. But ironically, we'd missed the Scottish game before the Irish game because of the snow.
Yeah.
So I had to get somebody to take me to the train station to go to, and I get up to London for the Scottish game. This is back in February, and it was snowed off. So I got back on the train and went home again. But so then the so-called easiest game was Scotland at home.
Yeah.
So Brian came in off the bench, and I'm sat at home, and I thought I couldn't watch it, so I had to go out. But anyway, so Brian played.
Okay.
Scotland at home. And then we went to the World Cup.
Yeah.
In Australia. We're based in Australia. It was a joint between Australia and New Zealand. And yeah. So I had a game against America.
So it's a different era now, isn't it? Because like you were on the bench 34 times, which is quite a lot. But back in those days, no one came on unless basically someone was injured. So you probably never went on in any of those things. Whereas now it's all about the finishes. You got the superstars of the game. Pollock's like the superstar of the game, and he's a sub. So it would have been nice if you played in this era. You could have come on and had like just 20 minutes to like prove that you're the superstar.
But then you have to speak to my mum and dad about that, wouldn't you?
Why is that?
Well, because I was born when I was born. You got to live your life when you live your life. Yeah. You can't look at ifs and buts, can you? And you can't have regrets either.
Do you?
Yeah. No, it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was lovely. But you can't relive it all. That is your moment. You're on this planet. And as a 18-year-old, I thought, well, you're either going to do something with your sporting life or you're not. Yeah. And if you don't do it at 17, 18, you're not going to do it. So, there's no point. Always remember the bloke, my neighbour farmer. I was talking to him one day and he said, I'll just tell you, son, when you're 35, don't ever lean on a gateway and say, I could have done this and could have done that. Yeah. He said, well, if you're going to think about it, you're going to do it now. But at 35, you don't want to be saying, well, I could have and I should have.
I suppose at least you did, because you did all the training, you even you were going obviously above and beyond to try to have that rugby career as well. So that must perhaps why you can't have any regrets, because at least you did do that, and there might be other forces.
Yeah, there are no regrets really. It was disappointing that I didn't have the opportunity to play more times for England, but I was there for most of the games, and I always remember, I think 88, I was considering ditching it because I was on the bench. I'd only been on the bench for a year, and
or ditching England, just saying I'm not available for selection anymore.
Stuart Barnes did, didn't he?
Yeah.
So Don Rutherford said, well, it's a lot better being number 2 than number 3. So I said, fair point.
But it's interesting how it carries on, because I feel like, when Stuart Barnes talks about a fly half, and there's always a battle between the maverick fly half and the guy who's the nail-on kicker, he's going back to his own battle. Every single time you see it, you see Wilkinson against Cipriani, or you see Marcus Smith probably against Finn. You know which side he's going to go on. He's going to go for the maverick, and so he does. I feel like he's reliving that rivalry all the way years through.
Yeah.
Because I also
think Rob Andrew, all right, whatever you say about Rob Andrew, he was a good rugby player.
Oh, he's brilliant. Well, look, it's the same as like we like in our research, we had we talked Andrew Mertens and Carlos Spencer. Like Mertens is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You see why he got picked, but at the time, the people's favourite was still Carlos Spencer, because he can chuck a reverse pass 50 yards, and do, no
But
look this
Barnsley
and
was
that.
a brilliant rugby player. But it's ironic, isn't it, that the game I didn't play in the game with Bristol when they beat Bristol 10-9, he misses a kick to win the game for Bristol, didn't he?
Yeah. But then he
Then
signed
in
to Bath.
92,
He signed to Bath at the end.
he kicks that ridiculous drop go that wins it for Bath against Quinns.
Yeah. So, but obviously the England stuff kind of came a bit to a head again. This would have been after that World Cup when you were in Fiji, I believe. Tell me what happened in Fiji, or you were going to play Fiji.
88, we went on tour to Australia, and Brian was in the. I was in the Tuesday team, and Brian played in the weekends. And but my last Tuesday game, I was playing. I don't know. Did I play against Eddie Jones? It's New South Wales country, and I had a.
Because he'd have played down in Coogee, wasn't it? Randwick or whatever it was, yeah.
But anyway, I played this game and I thought, and we lost the 2 tests against Australia.
Yeah.
I thought, right, I am shoed in
Yeah.
to play against Fiji.
Yeah.
Like you benched twice against Australia, it was fine. Fiji, in Suva, 88, get a cap. Maybe I built myself up.
Yeah.
Maybe I spoke to too many journalists and said, "Oh, you be in the team."
Yeah.
Well, you probably say it to me, Alex. I don't know.
I think it's understandable that you
Anyway,
think you'd
so
play.
we go to Suva, and then we train one day, and we train the next day, and then they announce the team on the training ground, and I'm not in the team. I'm on the bench. So I just walked off and went training with the Fijians who were playing sevens of the next door pitch. I thought, fuck, sorry, can I say it?
Yeah.
I thought, sod it. So anyway, walked off and trained with these Fijians.
Yeah.
It's like, can I join you? Yeah, man, come on. Anyway, that's not Lancastrian. That's Fijian.
I don't know
Anyway,
if
so I joined in with these
not your
guys.
speciality, but yeah.
I joined in with these guys, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm an England player, allegedly. I can't even live with these guys.
Yeah.
Could not live with them.
Yeah.
So I was there about 10, 15 minutes, and England were training.
Yeah.
So I thought, sod this. I went back to England. Because it was just, they were just phenomenal. Some of the skill set was just brilliant. Not even international players.
But then you didn't get a look in then at all for England. So what happened? Because didn't get punished for that insolence of going to train with the Fiji?
No.
Oh, there was just a gap. So then when was your...
Oh, right. So then we came home that tour.
Yeah.
And anyway, so we were playing Australia. We were playing Australia in the autumn, Southwest.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't want to start the season that early.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'm not going to start training with the Southwest yet. So I missed a couple of training sessions and then I missed out.
And then you did get to play for England one more time, didn't you, after that? So you came back in 93 or something like that, or?
93, we played New Zealand. So Southwest played New Zealand at Redruth.
It's different days, isn't it? They're Southwest. What an opportunity missed
In
for the other
Redruth.
regions. That's amazing.
15,000 people at Redruth.
Yeah.
Playing against New Zealand. And it was on a Saturday game. So I played against that game. And the selectors came down. Yeah. England selectors came down and I had a reasonable game. That was the day that Fielder Glamble got knocked about.
Yeah.
Allegedly. And then I think Jeff Cook came and said, "Yeah, you're going to be in the squad." So we played them. So then I played England A up in the north against New Zealand again.
Yeah.
So I played Fitzpatrick twice. So Sean Fitzpatrick, nice bloke, but first ruck, we come out of the scrum, first scrum, bang, first ruck. I'm trapped in the first ruck for some reason. Sean came over, gave me a bit of a punch and said, "Good evening," or "Good afternoon." And I said, "What's that for?" He said, "No particular reason." And get on with the game.
Very comparable.
Yeah, very good. But it was a really passionate game at Redruth, and great support. I loved it, and then played, and then obviously made it to the Twickenham.
Yeah.
Back in '93.
Yeah.
And that's the day that Jamie Joseph stepped on Kieran Bracken. wasn't it?
Kieran Bracken, you shared a room with him once. Tell me what happened.
Well, that was that week.
That was that weekend,
Yeah.
was it?
Well, he was the youngest and I was the oldest.
Okay, so you had to room together. And what did he do?
Acted like a naughty schoolboy.
Did he lock you outside your room
Yeah.
naked?
Yeah.
What
I
happened?
thought it was funny.
And what happened when he eventually? Because how did you break the door down? Did he eventually? Because there must have been a moment of realization when he realized okay, it was funny, and then the realization that
But he was only about
how's
19.
this going to play out?
He was
from
only
here
about
on
19, wasn't he? Why would he think that's funny? Because I didn't find that funny at all.
No, I don't imagine. But at some point, the fear must have kicked in when he realized, well, I've got to open this door eventually.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know what come over him.
And presumably you gave him all a wallop
But
when he
nice,
opened the door.
Top bloke.
Yeah.
Top bloke. Good rugby player.
Yeah.
And I remember when he made his first debut for Bristol at the Memorial Ground, and Jack Rowe said, they've got this new guy playing at scrum half, Bracken. Whatever you do, don't let him go down the short side
Okay.
because he's good.
Yeah.
And he didn't go down the short side. But
all illegal challenges.
oh no, that was good. Yeah, just good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, for clarity,
But-
obviously,
But that's just my job. Yeah.
the most physical players don't like to talk about the physicality. We had Julian White here last week, and he just kept sort of saying, yeah, that just happened. As if, whereas we've got television, there's more television coverage, in fairness, of Julian White doing things than there is of you. You're lucky there wasn't as many camera angles, I think, because...
Well, I don't think as much to report.
No, you think it's just fake news. Tell me,
No, it's just people will I don't know what's the word?
inflate stories.
Inflate stories a bit, yeah.
Yeah, build the legend.
For their own good, yeah.
Yeah. Although in fairness, the story about you training every day for a year, turns out it was 2 years solidly in a non-professional era. There's also the images, I think, from South Africa, that game against South Africa, and then there's all this kerfuffle and you kind of come out with blood on your shirt. I believe there's an image of that.
Was it South Africa? It would have been Eastern Province.
Oh, Eastern Province, sorry.
Yeah.
Tell me
Port
about that
Elizabeth.
game. Tell me about that game. Nothing
Just
happened.
brutal. No, that was a brutal game because Grizz Wiley was the coach of Eastern Province, wasn't he? The New Zealand flanker. Yeah. And he is nails. Absolute nails. Yeah. As a bloke, as a player, and as a coach. And I remember this New Zealand Lucep was playing for Eastern Province. And it was early on in the game, and I got spilled out into the side of a ruck. And this guy double-footed me onto my elbow on the ground. And it was a bit of pain. So I'm looking at the touch judge. So I'm on back, and I'm looking at it. I said, so is that acceptable? And the judge, to be fair, and back in the day then, because it's an amateur era, they're all South Africans.
Yeah, all local touch judges, yeah.
Well, it's no. He said, well, there's nothing going on.
Yeah, that's just a greeting.
There's nothing
It's
going
just
on.
a handshake with the
I
studs.
said, he's just potentially broken my arm. He said, well, that's just normal. Anyway, we were under the cosh. We went down early, and then Tim Rodber lost his cool.
Yeah.
And started
Yeah.
looking like Rocky Bilbao,
Yeah.
which is unacceptable, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
of course.
he had to walk.
Yeah.
And then, so he goes off, and then there's another injury, and then Brian comes onto the pitch
Yeah.
as a back row replacement.
Okay. Right. Interesting.
I think that was in the Eastern Province game.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. He's come onto the pitch, and he said, you're in the back row. I said, sorry? He said, yeah, you're going into the back row. Well, I said, no. I said, I've got number 2 on the back. I said, my philosophy is the best hooker plays hooker.
Yeah.
So he played in the back row. He played a good game, actually.
So you did play alongside him once then? Is that the only time once? Yeah. So to go back to Bath, so towards the end of the career, 96 Cup final is probably your last big moment for Bath? Because your final year in Bath, the Cup final against Leicester? So the Cup final against Leicester I think it felt like, because the professional era was sort of around that sort of time, the game had just turned, but it was still sorting itself out. But this was the last of the real Bath versus Leicester era, wasn't it? And tell me, do you remember when they were on television, what they were talking about? Because the Leicester front row was on the television in the previews talking about the game.
They found a pub garden, didn't they, in Leicestershire somewhere?
Yeah.
And these three, I don't know, guys sitting around a table, and they're discussing because they were going quite well, weren't they, Leicester?
Yeah.
They were the form team going into that final.
Yeah.
They were pumping everyone.
Yeah.
And they're obviously Graham Roundtree, Darren Garforth, and Richard Cocker were quite cocky, and they're sitting around this table, and they describe me as a rickety old table. And they're playing, and I'm watching it on TV on Rugby Special, and stupid move from them, and yeah.
But there's more though, isn't there? What happened before the game? Literally in the warm up.
No, that wasn't that game.
Or was that a different game?
No, that was at Welford Road. Would he walk on my hand?
Yeah.
In the warm up at Twickenham? No.
Yeah.
At Welford Road, he would.
Yeah.
Because he's got 17,000 people to look after him.
So you were just warming up, and he steps on your hand.
I was just doing my press ups on this. He does his normal run around. He only ran around half the pitch because he couldn't run around the whole pitch, but he ran around half the pitch, and I do my normal throwing against and do my warm up in under the sticks.
Yeah.
And he decides to put his left foot on my left hand, I think.
So that Bar team just seemed to, at the end, even though it was coming to an end, you still managed to get it up for the big games, wasn't it? Because it was that final as well. Even like, in
But
fairness,
they were going well. And Jono said to me in the first scrum that this is it.
Yeah. But it wasn't. What happened at the end?
Well, they had played well, but it was a nip and tuck game, and then we got awarded a penalty try, I think, for Steve Lander falling over.
So this is where Neil Vac pushed him over, didn't he?
Actually posted him a letter or something. I don't know. He just put his hand on him, didn't he?
But that was huge. And again, it felt like
it was massive because poor old Backy got a suspension for that.
Yeah, it was huge, wasn't it?
Yeah, which is it's
almost
nice.
as controversial as the Munster one, depending on which country you're in.
It was a frustrating afternoon for Leicester, wasn't it? If you imagine, they were the form team. We weren't really the form team going into that final. We got to the final, but we weren't the form team. But they made that mistake by winding me up or winding the team up before the game. Yeah. That was just an awful thing to do.
Yeah. And then didn't you nick it just at the end?
Yeah, we got that penalty try. Yeah, and won it, yeah. So, they are, what's the word? They are the architects of their own downfall.
Did it feel like, were you all wearing this?
Arrogance never has a place in the game, in my view. Humility is everything. That's an old-fashioned value, but I still go by that. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter what you do behind closed doors, but in the public eye, stay humble.
Yeah.
And you stay connected, I think.
Yeah. That felt like that was representative of an era. I don't know if it's, again, probably growing up where I did, and then looking at that rugby divide between where rugby in Devon and Cornwall was just what you do, and then versus the sort of Southwest London, the Harlequin side. That thing rings true for, I think, a lot of people all the way through, just because the eras, if you like, and perhaps your rivalry of Moray Moore was representative. So even though he was obviously originally a working class stock, he very much represented Harlequins, whereas you were like the farmer from Devon.
Yeah, maybe, but we're human beings, aren't we? And we all have different paths in life. And I respect him as a good rugby player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But my goal was to play for my country, and I was 100%. Nothing was going to get in my way.
Yeah.
So all those years of hard work, but unfortunately, he was there.
Yeah.
And fair play to him.
Did you ever give up on England? You mentioned earlier there was one moment you thought about giving up, but all the way through that long period of time between the caps, you always was hoping you might get.
No. Because I always remember Bath went down to France in '88 when I was out of the side. and John Reason was a reporter for the Telegraph.
Yeah.
And he was quite an influential bloke towards
Yeah.
England and club rugby. And,
Yep.
you know, if he had the opportunity to pour some cold water on anybody, he would do it.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting him. The one and only time I ever met him was in the clubhouse or in the reception area of this Bath Toulouse game. And he said, well, one thing's for sure, you'll never play for England again. But it was 12 o'clock at night, so we didn't kick off till 9:30 that evening. And so we met at 12 o'clock, 12:30 maybe. And I said, well, how can you say that? How can you say that to me?
Yeah.
He said, because it's true. And so I went out, I said, well, I'm going to prove this guy wrong.
Yeah.
So obviously it was 8 years between caps.
Yeah.
Fourth and fifth
So you
cap.
eventually proved him wrong.
He was dead by the time I proved it wrong. Very sadly.
This guy, I mean, I'll be honest.
He was a legend.
He was before my time, but he comes up in so many conversations. Because the thing is with your career, is we're at 36. And that was the year, that cup final, was that your last, did they tell you in the summer? Because the way you ended was kind of sort of mutual, but not mutual. Tell me about how Bath sort of brought that chapter to an end.
Well, it was, so my final year was 96, first year of professionalism, wasn't it?
Yeah.
96, 97. And then, so I had 2 bad injuries that year, weirdly.
Yeah.
So I broke my scaphoid, and then when I came back, and they signed Freddie Mendes.
Oh God, yeah, of course.
But I used to live in Bath then.
Yeah.
So I had 1 year living in Bath. And Freddie Mendes was put up in the Bath Hilton or wherever on the hill, and I used to train outside his bedroom window because he used to inspire me. But anyway, so yeah, but good player. Yeah.
Also famous for knocking out Wade Dooley. Was it?
Yeah.
Paul Ackford. Sorry, Paul Ackford. There's a video of Mendes who was how tall?
Mendes?
Yeah.
He's only 6 foot.
He was 6 foot. Knocking out Paul Ackford, who then is looking a little bit like Bambi after it.
The true story goes that Probin
Yeah.
and upset
Yeah.
by doing something to Freddie. He's only young, wasn't he? He was 19.
Yeah,
19
yeah. That was a big thing.
But the story gets better because, anyway, so Probin upsets him, but then obviously Paul Ackford turns up in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he gets the punch and knocks him out. And Paul Ackford's a police inspector.
Yeah.
And then Wade Dooley's in the team.
Yeah.
And Wade Dooley wanders over, and the only way that Wade Dooley can wander over, and looks down at Paul Ackford and says, you can tell which copper's got the desk job.
So how did you end up playing almost another 20 years of rugby? Well, 15 years. What you were like 36
because
when you left Bath.
Because as a human being, the rhetoric is that at 35, 36, 37, you come to an end.
Yeah.
Because you speak to any rugby player, they go, oh, I've had enough, my body's shot and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But my body wasn't shot. I was fine, but I just didn't tell anybody that. So they just presume, don't they? So I just said, yeah, I'll come up for 6 weeks, you know, because by then it's professional. So they're going to pay me, you know, pay my petrol up and everything. So I got there.
Is that what professional was when your petrol got paid?
Well, no. Anyway, so I started the 6 weeks.
I'm not sure how good you are with money, Graham.
No. So by the middle of September, they said, well, we'd like you to stay for the season. Obviously, Luke Hewson, I don't know, he was there, but anyway. But then I come into contact with a guy called Steve Diamond.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I said, well, so I'm pretty confident I'm going to take Steve's place.
Yeah.
Because I played against him.
Yeah.
But it didn't always work out quite like that. Anyway, so I stayed there for a year, and then at the end of that year, they said, well, John Mitchell's now been asked to coach England, forwards coach. We'd like you to stay on and coach Sale.
Okay. Yeah.
While he's away with you and Jim Mallender.
Yeah.
So I stayed another year after that.
Okay. And then why did you, and then eventually Plymouth was next?
Well, then it's 99. So I had an opportunity to go to Exeter.
Who gave you that opportunity? Who asked you to go to Exeter?
Tony Rowe.
Oh, okay.
invited
Right.
in by Tony Rowe.
Yeah. Why did you say no?
Well, I could have gone one of three ways. I could have. So Brian Ashton asked me to go and coach the Irish forwards.
Yeah. And Brian Ashton had coached you at Bath. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was coach of Ireland at the time.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity. So I went over to Ireland to work that one out. So it's a choice between Exeter, Ireland, or Plymouth.
Okay. You chose Plymouth.
I
Is that
chose
because you're from Plymouth? Is that like an emotional? Because they were
yeah.
level 4 at the time, weren't they? And
Yeah, they hadn't won many games that year. No, they had been pretty ropey.
yeah. Or was it just locality? Because you spent your whole career getting a lot of miles in. What was it? Was it, was it like, do you know what? I need to be a bit more local.
Well, no, because Exeter was quite close.
Exeter, yeah.
Yeah. But there's reasons. So I turned down the Exeter job, turned down the Irish job, and I turned down the Launceston job
Okay.
to go to Plymouth. So I had 4 options.
And what was the reason behind Plymouth? Why?
Plymouth.
Just
Because I went to watch them as a schoolboy a couple of times at Beacon Park, and I thought this is good. You know what I mean? The passion. But so I was born in Plymouth, so I just felt
and they were ambitious.
And they were ambitious,
Yeah.
very ambitious, but they were, it was going to be a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was going to be a struggle, but I quite like a struggle.
How quickly did you get promotion? Because if you're in level 4, which will be like National 2 now, how long did it take you to get sort of them up to the champ?
We huffed and puffed the first year, and then the second year we were promoted, weren't we? And then the third year we got promoted again.
Because then there was this effectively like a 4-horse race. Then you were in the title race for the champ. I think the year Bristol went up was one of the years that you were
before this it was the days of Worcester and Rotherham.
Yeah, going through.
They were the ones, and then obviously Oral.
Yeah, because Oral had the money at the time as well, and then
Dave Whelan.
But that one side you built, which then when Bristol went up, they took about half your squad, didn't they? So tell me about that year. Because Richard Hill would have been coach, wouldn't he? Richard Hill, like who's come up with this conversation a lot. He was the coach of Bristol, and they were probably the favourites. They were the the biggest club, and you had built this side. I think, Dan Ward-Smith would have been in that side, who was like the England number 8 that never was kind of player. And there was, a lot of the guys who went up to that Bristol side.
It was a good pack of forwards, to be fair.
Brilliant pack. But they had a few tasty backs,
And then we had Rusty Thompson at centre.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some tidy players.
Was that the season, do you think, in terms of, because obviously...
Well, the whole thing with Plymouth is, we had a window, maybe let's say we had a 6 or 7 year window to get up with, we had a little bit of money, but we needed to develop the ground, and we couldn't develop the ground quick enough because of planning and all the rest of the little issues we had.
Yeah.
Too much to go into detail with, but it was like walking through concrete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we probably wasted a couple of years when we finished third.
Yeah.
And you still got reasonable budgets.
Yeah.
When really that could have been concentrated to 1 year.
Yeah.
And let's go for it.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, and then that was it. It didn't quite materialize. It wasn't for the want to try. And we had the team and we had the momentum.
Yeah.
When we went from level 4 to level 1, we won 41 games in a row.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, and then I remember the 42nd game was a third away game in a row. So we played Kendal away, I don't know, somewhere else up in the north, and then we ended up playing Otley. So we went Kendal, Sedgley, Otley, three games in a row. And we lost that Otley game to a drop go from the number 8 from 10 meters, in his own 10 meters, no, our 10 meter line. And that's what cost us the game. Yeah.
So, but
you couldn't make it up.
Do you think that was a sliding doors moment because obviously then Exeter go up later as well. I mean, you had a big rivalry. Yeah, but do you think that was the sliding doors moment? Because I always felt like with the West Country is like whoever got up out of Exeter, Plymouth, and Penzance, we'd all have supported in the same way that all the Cornish guys support Exeter Chiefs. They hoovered up, so that was kind of in Plymouth. Were the biggest really of the three.
Well, yeah. But
in terms of
to be fair,
history, maybe.
you can't take it away from Exeter now, can you? And I think the defining moment in promoting a team then was that Exeter got the academy in 2001.
Yeah.
And we couldn't bid for it again until, what, 2008?
Yeah.
And so although we had a good bid on 2001, we didn't get it. And then that is really the defining moment for which team was
goes up.
ultimately successful.
Yeah. And it's very hard, like you said.
It's very hard. And it was Southwest Rugby Academy.
Yeah.
But it was basically auspice of Exeter.
So as mentioned, we're at the Coachmakers, and this is part of the Cubits House Group. And so Ben Tish is actually the chef across all of it, and he's created something for us today. So
Ben, how you doing? I'm very well. How are you? Hi, how are you?
Ben.
Yeah. So I have created this dish, which is using some of your Dexter beef, actually. So it's cottegino kind of style sausage with polenta and Spenwood cheese and like a gravy. So it's very kind of North Italian.
So tell me about cottegino, because obviously this being a rugby pod, we need to help those.
Yeah, of course. So no, absolutely. Yeah. So cottegino is kind of like, it's a semi kind of cured sausage, which means you need to cook it. It's got loads of kind of offally bits in there, and pig's head and tail and bits and bobs like that, but all delicious. Probably not my dish down though.
We had it for lunch 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Coon's head.
It's flavour packed. It's absolutely flavour packed. So it's normally pork, but we've got a bit of Dexter beef kind of flowing through it as well, which I think is actually really nice. It kind of makes it a bit more kind of meatier. But yeah, it's very hearty.
What different animals have you got then? So you've got how many different types of beef? You got 3 different types of beef?
Well, Devons and South Devons. So I cross them because they live outdoors all the time, so they're quite hardy. So they mature between 30 and 36 months.
Okay.
And then recently we started a Dexter herd because that is what the restaurants and for the boxes, food boxes, they love it.
Why do the restaurants want Dexter then?
Because it's just it's a smaller animal, but the fat integrated into the muscle.
It's amazing meat. It is. Everybody loves it. So they are smaller. There's kind of there's quite a high bone to meat ratio to them, but I believe. But
the fat content.
It's great.
And they are absolute hard as nails.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay. So they live outside all the time. Don't make too much mess. And they fatten. All right, it still takes, it might take 3 years.
Yeah.
But the slow growing maturity is beautiful. Yeah.
Are you into food? I'm gonna start eating, but you into your food? Because you must have, obviously you got access to the produce.
I can eat. I don't know. I savour beautiful food, cook well, but I can eat anything.
Yeah,
mate, I'm a rugby player.
Yeah.
You have to watch the fat though, right? You were telling me earlier that your wife likes to kind of.
She doesn't.
The fat.
She doesn't like the fat.
Yeah.
So I eat her fat.
Yeah.
Were you always like on that sort of? Were you aware of like the nutrition side of it as a rugby player? Because obviously you were in the amateur days mostly, but you obviously had a professional mindset.
Well, just eating wholesome food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we used to make our own cider, grow. You always have
the first thing straight after wholesome food is cider.
Full of meat all the time from our own food.
Yeah, you know where it's coming from.
It's all cooked. It's all cooked, isn't it?
Can't go far wrong.
Wholesome cooked food.
Do you still make your own cider?
I don't actually. No.
Yeah.
No.
I like cider, but I only like it when I'm sort of back home in Devon. It's just not the same anywhere else because you just get the good stuff.
Well, it wasn't cider. They call it scrumpy.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, scrumpy, it's a healthy drink. It puts you to sleep, but it's a healthy drink.
Well, there's the I don't know if it's still there, the cider bar in Newton Abbot, which was always like a regular route. So when you're in Brickby, you used to travel away around Devon, and there was a cider bar on the way that everyone used to stop. I don't know.
You know, there's a cider house in Bath called the Beehive.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's still.
that.
I don't know if it's still going.
It's well, it was infamous.
It's infamous.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
Infamous.
yeah.
So after I've only been there a few times, but an infamous one was we'd had 2 pints, and if you had more than 2 pints, you're a legend.
Yeah.
Of this orange liquid, and apparently Jeremy Guskett ran over this police car and ran down Nelson Street backwards, saying, "Catch me if you can."
Did Jeremy Guskett drink much? Was that not a thing? So that's
He
hence
probably
the
only had
reason.
a half
Drink-
pint.
It's definitely kind of getting drunk though, cider, is there? If you have a couple of those, it's kind of like almost like equivalent to having martinis. You know,
Yeah, but
kinda-
it's all over. It's
strong
all
stuff.
over in 25 minutes,
Yeah.
and then you're back to normal again.
Yeah.
But you just act silly. There's some better stories with Nigel Redmond, but I won't go there.
Not give us one Nigel Redmond story, especially like he's like, you know, he's got a proper job now in England and stuff.
Nah.
He's in charge of like youth development as well, so it's the future of our children.
We found him outside the Beehive in the gutter, so we put him in a taxi and he went home, and no, I can't carry on.
Oh,
Okay, we'll do a poll on that one.
Yeah.
What are chefs like? Do you hang out with chefs? Do chefs have nights out like that? And what? Because where do you go? Because you don't finish till
well,
like 1 o'clock.
you know, those. I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of not as a late finisher as I used to be. But I don't know. I think chefs. Times have changed. 10, 15, 20 years ago, there were spots that chefs would be out all the time. But I just think the culture's changed a bit. I think there's less of that, or I don't know if it's my generation getting older. You can't do those late nights. Do you know what I mean? It's
Surprising what you do in the 20s.
well, I think I don't want to competition, but I think the Devonshire a lot of chefs go there after work.
Okay.
Because I've got a bit of a late license, but yeah, I think it's my generation. They're kind of riding it in a bit. Yeah.
Just say go to the food. Try some Graham. Me and Ben are better. It's so good, but also it just shows how different now the pub food scene is, isn't it? Because even we've gone on from the gastro pub scene of about 10, 15 years ago. Now it's sort of still kind of comfort food, but just next level, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I hope to think so, but yeah, it's definitely this time of year something like that. I mean, it's a sausage and mash type thing, isn't it? It's got those kind of comforting qualities about that, but just put a bit of a cotticino, Northern Italian. Yeah, I mean, it's simple, delicious. I mean, hope you, especially all about
stunning.
It's all
That's
about
stunning.
Mangalista and Dexter.
But
No, you like
that's a familiar taste.
yeah,
but-
that cotticino is where you get that real lip smacking. It's kind of quite sticky, and that's from the pig's head and all the rest of it. And you just don't get that from anything else. It's one.
And you've well salted it as well.
Huh?
You've well salted it. I love soap.
Yeah, good.
I think it's just got it gets a nice little bit of punch, and it's still sweet and as well, and it's still the polenta gives it that lovely mashed warming stuff.
Yeah,
Can I carry on?
You carry
yeah. No, that's your lunch.
Right. I think probably because we're running out of time a little bit as well. But thank you very much, Ben.
Pleasure.
Amazing
Huge,
food.
everyone
Everyone needs to get down. This will be like a Graham Dawe special edition, I'm sure, during the Six Nations. Graham, pleasure to hear your story again. Didn't have to have Liz this time. If you look at the rugbyjournal.com, you can find your own story if you want reminding of the tales.
Hello, really?
Yeah, you can. But thank you very much for your time. This has been Rugby Lives with the Cubitt House Group Special Farmers Edition. We've been at the Coach Makers. And thank you very much, everyone. Cheers.
Nice one.
Thank you.
You could have Karen Easton now. Cheers.